Welcome to your show and mine, Bobby Ramos Bottom Line YouTube channel. I had to switch up today. I already had somebody that was already done and I was going to use for today. And after what happened yesterday with Cub Woods, I realized I need to talk about him today. Um, and yeah, I do call him Cub Woods. Everybody who listened to me on the radio for years know I've been doing that for years. I don't think he's man enough to be called Tiger. I've always called him Cub Woods. And there was a 2 hour, with two part, I'm sorry, it was almost a 3 hour piece on HBO that I had recorded. I had DVR'd like 3, 4 weeks ago. And I was going to talk about it, just haven't found the time. And now it's here because of what happened with him yesterday. So let me get into a couple of things. This isn't, for all you Cub Woods fans, this isn't me piling on and me kicking a man when he's down. It's not about that. Anybody who knows me from the radio or knows me personally, I have taken him to task since day one for the way he carried himself. Not as a golfer, because of course he's a great golfer. So, and I'm not a golfer. I don't care about golf either. But I know he was one of the best, if not the best, golfer. So it wasn't about his game. It was about how he carried himself. So I just wanted to put that out there. I'm not throwing dirt on him, and I'm glad he's alive. I despise him the way I do Jordan. I'm glad he's alive, and he has the money and he has a couple of broken legs, and he'll heal and go on with his life. It starts with me. A lot has to do with his father. If you watch those things or you've seen the clip, he's at the podium, his father, and he says this long paragraph about just how special his son is, and I love that. Okay, that's cool. It's your kid. But he says, "This is my treasure. This is my gift to you. Use it wisely." Let's not get carried away. Use it wisely. You should have said that to him. In watching the clip also about the dad again, the kindergarten, Cub Woods' kindergarten teacher said that along with herself, all the teachers hated when Cub Woods' father, Mr. Woods, would come into the school. She said because all the teachers despised him because he was a son of a bitch. Real simple. He was an arrogant kind of guy, full of himself, and he was a son of a bitch. I saw an early clip of Tiger. He was 14 years old, so I'm not knocking him for this because he was only 14. But it shows the mindset that was going to come out later. And it was a mindset that was instilled in him, obviously by his parents. And he said, he was talking to an interview, and he said he could be like Jordan to the blacks. To the blacks. To the blacks. He sounded more like Donald Trump, if anything. You remember when Trump said, "I've done more for the blacks." He sounded more like Donald Trump than he did a black man. I could be like Jordan to the blacks. Anyway, another thing, just getting him started because of his father. His father had I understand the drinking problem and all that stuff, but he had some issues that I don't know anything about, but it was very weird to me when he said, and it was live in this documentary, so you get a chance to see it. And I wrote it down, so I got it right. And I quote, he said, "I was personally selected by God himself to nurture this young man and bring him to the point where he could make his contribution to humanity." Close quote. I was personally selected by God himself. That sounds like some old Jimmy Swaggart stuff to me there. That's some old, what, you got God on speed dial? He hit you up one day and told you personally? So that's what I think is some of the early problems of Tiger. Um, he goes on to Nike, and which is why I don't like Jordan. You know, Jordan was the instigator of that Nike brand of hear no evil, say no evil, have no opinion on anything worthwhile. Just make your money and just let everybody else drown. Um, but I saw Cub Woods in the thing say that yeah, there are courses, and he was young. There are courses that I can't play on because of the color of my skin. Well, if you knew that much, once you became this superstar who was bigger than the game, who became the game, why didn't you do anything about it? Why didn't you do anything about it? When those women back in the day were boycotting Augusta because they would not let women in. Sorry, Cub Woods, but your mother's a woman. She can't get in, and you're okay with that. You're okay with going at golf courses that don't want women in there, don't want black people in there. You're okay with going there. So what did you do with the power that you were given? I just don't get that. When he goes on the Oprah show, and this is my main crux to him, that he's done nothing with the power that he had. When he goes on the Oprah show and she brings up, she said, do you have problems being an African American? He said, yeah. He said, I don't consider myself African American. I see myself as that term he came up with, Camblanasian, Caucasian and Asian and black and that whole thing. Um, but he got asked, does it bother you about you being African American? His answer was yes. At least he was honest because in his life he showed he cared nothing about his own people at all. At all. So listen, to me, and listen, I don't care about his personal business with his wife and his wives and his girlfriends and all that kind of stuff. But that also told a lot about himself too, with his allegedly his over 120 girlfriends that he had. They was all white. They were all white. So I'm just saying he didn't need counseling. He may have needed diversity training. He might have needed diversity training, but you couldn't find a sister, just like one or two maybe, that would accept you for who you are. I I don't know, but anyway, what I what I think is going on with this cat, to me, it's obvious. He has a drug problem. He has a drug problem. He's had now. This is his second major accident. Because remember, years ago he hit that tree that jumped in front of him. This is his second major one-car accident, and he's been arrested for DUI. He's had five prescription drugs in his system at that time: Xanax and Ambien and opioid painkillers. What are we going to do? Wait for him to kill somebody? Then when he kills somebody, kills a family or kills somebody, then everybody's going to be all in uproar. We need to see this. We need to see this coming. We need to see this coming. Um, he's been arrested also for driving under the influence. Yes, he's had two major back surgeries, but you just can't dismiss the fact that this cat is having these major accidents because he's a superstar. This country's lost a lot of people to drug abuse and intoxication. Judy Garland, Michael Jackson, Heath Ledger, Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin, Prince, Marilyn Monroe, John Belushi, Truman Capote, Chris Farley, so many people. We could sit here for probably 2 hours talking about people who have lost their life because they couldn't control the drugs they were taking in or the alcohol. And so why are we so surprised when these people die? Because you usually see signs beforehand. You usually see signs beforehand. And trust me, folks, I'm not knocking anybody with a drug addiction. I've seen it a lot. We all have it in our families. We all have it in our friends. You see it everywhere. And as a cop, I helped quite a few people get into rehab centers. So this isn't about knocking somebody with a drug addiction. It's not that at all. But are we going to wait for this cat to kill somebody? He's rich enough, he ought to have a driver. He shouldn't even be driving. Okay, his license should be taken away. You know, he's had two major accidents now. And he's been arrested. He obviously has an addiction issue. If you look at the pictures of him and see the pictures, matter of fact, some of them I'm putting up here, you'll see them. It's very obvious. So no, I'm not happy that he got into an accident, but I ain't sympathetic either. I'm not sympathetic either. Cub Woods has dismissed his own people since day one. The blacks couldn't identify with who he is. He wanted to be white. He played it white, straight across the board. Instead of being white, he should have been right and tried to identify with who he is. I'm sorry. And all this stuff, I said it for years on the radio. All this, oh, he's gonna do this for golf and do that. He didn't do anything for golf, but as he said in the video, he became privileged. He became privileged. He was an elitist. One of my favorite shows is Real Sports with Brian Gumbel, and they had these young black golfers on. And I think Peyton's brother, Walter Payton's brother, Eddie Payton, had something to do with them. And but one of the things I learned about it was for young golfers to get to the next level, they need a lot of money for training and things like that. And these college guys were really good, but they lacked the sponsorship to get the training to get better. And they were asked, Tiger Woods ever reached out to any of you guys? No. These were the cream of the crop in college as far as young black golfers. He didn't do nada. And you know what? He never even had to come out of his pocket. All he had to do was reach out to his hundreds of sponsors, billionaire sponsors, and have them, here, give this kid $100,000. Give this kid $200,000 so he can get a shot. Wouldn't even have to come out of his pocket. Okay, same thing. He could have did the same thing playing in these golf courses that wouldn't allow blacks and didn't want women there. All he had to do, because he was playing in it, he was the man. All he had to do was say, listen, you don't change your policies, I'm not playing on your course. That's all he had to do. Trust me. Forget the black and the white. They understand the green. They would have acquiesced in a minute. In a minute. That's all he had to do. He would not even do that. So it's not a question, and I'm not one of them cats who say, well, he's not black enough. No, which I think is kind of ridiculous. It's not that he's not black enough. He's not black at all. He's not black at all. By his own words. By his own words, by his own deeds, by the way he carried himself. Never cared. That's why I don't give a damn about Cub Woods. I really don't. I'm glad he's alive. But I can't be sorry for a billionaire who's got a couple of broken legs and who did nothing to help anybody else. I ain't Gandhi, man. Nobody's perfect. We all have our frailties and our faults. We all know that. But we're here for a purpose. We're supposed to help each other. If this guy had been willing in his adult life to help people, and I'm not talking about what his foundation did, what Nike gave money here and there and all that kind of stuff. That was all right off. That was all about image. I mean, really had some impact. I remember when the whole thing when this was only, a couple months ago with Black Lives Matter. And that's when, was it George Floyd? No, it was when the NBA players sat out, decided to walk off the court and not play. Cub Woods guy asked, I still have the clip on SportsCenter. Has he thought about doing the same thing to make an impact? And he punked out. He totally punked out and said, well, the president of our federation, he's laid down what we should do, and that's what we're doing. And excuse me? Since when is somebody in golf bigger than you? Since when? You punked out. You had no opinion. You cared about nobody else. And you slithered over to the side like you always do to avoid stuff. Just like Jordan did. Just like Derek Jeter did. They're all from that same Nike camp. See no evil, hear no evil. Punk asses. Great players. Don't get me wrong. Great players. But no opinion on anything. So I'm sorry. No, I'm not sorry. But I'm from the school of Muhammad Ali and Bill Russell and Billie Jean King, people who stood up, Kurt Flood, Oscar Robertson, people who stood up and fought, got theirs already, but they stood up and fought for somebody else. That's why I've always refused to call him Tiger. He's a cub. He's a kid. Like that in the HBO thing, that first main girlfriend, the big one that he had for a long time, he said that he could help, she helped him relax. And she said, yeah, he was like a kid with me. You know, he would get up in the morning and have cereal and watch cartoons. Okay, that's cool, but could you help somebody else? Could you do something for somebody else? So, he is not, let me say this, he is not the first great player to be a terrible person. He's not. There's been a lot of them. Human nature. I wouldn't mind so much if he was a terrible person, if he tried to help other people, if he wasn't so pompous, if he wasn't so arrogant, as he said, if he wasn't an elitist and privileged and used some of that power to bring somebody else up. So, it's a long one today, but that, I just wanted to, I'm glad he's alive, but I don't give a damn about Cub Woods. Never will. Unless he changes a lot. I don't care about how he plays golf unless he changes not how he helps people, starting to help people. He has a lot of power. And it's a waste to have that kind of power and that kind of privilege to have the podium the way he does. He can make money people move to use that money to help open doors for people and assist people in need, but he's never done it. So I don't give a damn about Cub Woods. Thank you for listening to your show and mine, Bobby Ramos Bottom Line. Check out tomorrow. I'm going to have who I was going to do today, very interesting guy. So everybody have a great day, and come back tomorrow because I ain't through with you. Ha ha.